And we haven't seen people in a couple weeks. Like, I miss people. I feel like you probably miss people too.
I miss our Monday night homies. It's been a little bit. It's been a great end of summer. Everyone's been busy and has lots happening in their lives. I know you and I certainly both do, and I know all of our clients do. We've got a lot of energy that we're going to be able to talk about tonight, like the full moon that we just had and Mercury retrograde. And there's a lot of balance and abundance themes and trust themes coming up right now. So there's a lot of things challenging people in those aspects. Hello, happy Monday. We've got some friends.
We were just talking about how much we missed you guys. It was like, yay. And then we have like what a day back, because then like Mandee was talking about retrograde and full moon and all the fun things that are taking place. And I don't really know if this is supposed to be one of those full moon / retrogrades that like knock people off their socks, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm like calm and a little nervous about how smooth I feel right now in my life. I'm like, okay, I don't know, is this good, is this bad, is it like gonna midway through retrograde be like, haha, we were just joking and now you've got all this happening around you.
Well,
So
let's
I'm
pause there.
curious.
Let's pause there and like talk about that for sure because so many people are like, all right, I'm prepared. Retrograde's gonna like ruin my life and it's gonna be awful. And like, when's it gonna hit me? And we walk in with this kind of expectation or this preconceived notion about what might happen. And we don't just stay present through it. What I think's cool about retrograde is it's the time to practice all your re's. So rest, reset, recalibrate, redecorate, like anything like go the reprioritize. It's the time to do that. And our soul sets it up for us. And so the reason that things get interrupted is because we demand things, we expect things, and we are used to instant gratification in this wild society we all co-created. And so all of a sudden, Mercury and the energies will be telling us to slow down and to rest and recuperate, but we just want to push and go, go, go. And what'll happen is there will be hiccups. That's why it's not a great time. Typically, it depends on your birth chart, which Ursula will tell us all about at some point. But what happens is if you can focus on where your rising sign is or how you're being influenced by this moon or retrograde, it makes so much more sense. Sometimes not the best for us, but sometimes it can be great. I was born during a Mercury retrograde and I love it. Things come alive for me. I feel amazing. My dreams are always like fire. So it's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. And all of us who've been through mad trauma and drama are always waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're always waiting for something to happen. And here's the thing, like it's going to happen no matter what, if we're waiting for it or not. Like it's life, it's earth school. And I always say, even if you manifest everything you want and you have the most perfect life and dream and spouse and career and all the things and blah, 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 life's still going to happen. There's still going to be a fire somewhere or a flood or a natural disaster or someone you love is going to get sick or hurt or pass away. Like there's still going to be life. And it's about how we respond to it and what we choose to do with our energies. So much to jam on all that stuff. But welcome. We're so glad you guys are here.
I was like, we have Jennifer, Heather, Kendra, and we also have Glenda today. Hey, Glenda. So happy for you to finally be able to tune in. I don't think she can tune in during the day when we're here. So I'm happy that we kind of switch it up sometimes and do it later for the ladies that are over in that part of the world because they like to tune in too. So I appreciate that. And yeah, we do have a lot of people. And I think that this is like the first time that I've just kind of like pulled back and I'm just like, whatever. I don't give a hoot right now. And it's more so me kind of, as you stated, recalibrating. So it kind of makes sense that I would feel this way because I'm just kind of like rechecking myself. I've got other things that are happening. I'm finally able to like put my 2 cents into my business the way that I've wanted to. And so yeah, I'm just kind of like, okay, now what can I do next and how can I do it and what does that look like for me? So it kind of makes sense that I wouldn't be all crazy during this retrograde as of right now. I'm pretty cool, calm, and collected. Last night I had some stupid, shitty PTSD dreams, but other than that, I was cool. Woke up and I'm like, why? And I don't know if like I know some other people out there have had like their experiences and like diagnosed with PTSD too, but like did your dreams ever get inserted with like mine are always inserted with Ben. So my ex-husbands are him instead of it being like my actual ex-husband or the person who did whatever, it's always Ben. And so it's really weird how my brain almost wants to sabotage like what it is, because Ben is not those things that my dreams are portrayed. And so it's always like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, well, Ben, you just went on a mission again last night, and I would just like you to know that things were crap. And then, you know, he feels the need to apologize. He shouldn't. I'm just kind of like, hey, this is what happened. And it's always so weird to me. So
but Crystal,
curious.
It's like not that strange and different from so many other people. And literally what's happening during this retrograde is you are going retrospect and you're bringing up things that once harmed your programming, and you're reprogramming at this time, and you're in a safe enough place to release a lot of this stuff, right? And so you're in a beautiful new home with your partner who loves and adores you, and vice versa. And what's your ultimate, you know, fear would be what was programmed in before, which was, oh, my partner's going to do this to me because this is what happened before. So you're literally doing shadow work on the astral plane right now and clearing some of these deep-seated fears up because it's safe enough to release them and to rewire.
Thank God.
And so I would invite you and all of our clients who go through this, because I know a lot of you guys do, when that comes up, to take some deep breaths right as you wake up in the morning and do some affirmations like, I am safe, I am present, all is well. Look at this beautiful man next to me now. Like, my life is not like that. And it is okay. And it is safe for me to release these fears. It is safe for me to release that dream. Like, thank you, God, angels, whatever it is you want to call in. And like, that's what it's coming up for. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that, because you're not crazy and weird and alone. And I know so many people go through the same exact thing all the time, especially when we're in safer new relationships.
See, that's awesome. I'm already on the right steps, because that's how I start my day, Miss Mandee. And it's always because of you. You always are like, wake up like this with this intention. And so I remind myself always to wake up with like gratitude as my intention. You take your time, you kind of like recirculate, you stretch, you thank, you do all these things. And so as traumatizing as and I think this is like part of the hardship in my words. And I think this is where people kind of don't hear me sometimes. It sounds like I'm okay with all of this stuff. I acknowledge it. It's not that big of a deal. I acknowledge it. But it's kind of like almost second nature now. The dreams happen so often sometimes that it's almost like second nature. And I just wake up and I'm like, well, that was another night. It is what it is. It was a dream. I'm going to take it as face value as much as I can right now. And if it comes back to me, I'll figure it out later. It's just, it doesn't really get me anymore the way that it did when I first started having or experiencing the dreams.
That's
and
healing.
So
you're
it's
healing.
Just like,
how beautiful.
Like, okay, that was a thing. That was a thing. So let's move on with our day. And it is what it is. We're starting over. This isn't my experience. So it is what it is. But it's just so weird that your brain would still like try to pile drive you, even though you're like, okay.
It's deep-seated and subconscious. And the cool part about it is now you're not reacting to it. Now you get to sit with it for a little while and be like, okay, it happened. That's the case. Like, I don't need to work up my nervous system and the conscious present about it right now. But here we are. Like, that's a huge step in the healing process. So,
well, I'm grateful that that's a good damn thing, because a lot of people are like, no, she's just blowing off her trauma. And I'm like, no, I've had to deal with it for so many years. People, I think, forget that I'm 42 and that I've been dealing with these things for a very, very, very long time. And so it's kind of like, where I was versus where I am today, not the same human. And it just, I don't care anymore. I don't care. My brain is the thing that seems to care. Crystal, I'm like, could we not now? Like, please? This is stupid. This is like 20 years ago. We're cool. Let's move on. Let's get to doing things, living life and actually being happy and experiencing that happiness that you worked so hard for. Like, let's knock that shit off. And so that's what I try to focus on. So
you're doing it. And that's just it. Like, everybody heals in their own sweet time, and nobody's healing all looks the same. And part of it is, not giving emotions, like these really intense, heavy emotions all the time, as soon as we think about something that happened before in the past. So it can feel a little weird and dissociative and a little like wishy-washy, because you're like, actually, I don't give a fuck. Like, I actually don't care anymore. And you're like, what's wrong with me? I should care. Like, I was wounded by this. Like, what? But really, you're releasing it. You're allowing it to not impact your consciousness anymore. Like, old story, new day, here we go. eventually it just starts to kind of dissipate and you find more peace. And a lot of people question, are they crazy because they don't care about it like the way that they once did before? So I'm also really glad you shared that. Thank you.
I think it's
All
kind
these
of
things
cool.
are really important right now during this moon and during this retrograde.
Right. And also for like 2022, because like I don't know if you're a watcher, which you are, you have to be. And I know half of these ladies on here, I know are watchers, that they like to watch situations. Right now, like in the world, it's almost like society tells us we have to hang on to these things. You have to hang on to it because that's part of your identity. That is not part of my identity. That's not me. It happened to me. It was a space in my life, but it's not who I am. I don't even necessarily, it just is what it is. It happened, it was there, it was for a purpose, and now I'm different because of it. Am I happy? Actually, yes. People who are in the state sometimes don't get the happiness that comes after the fact, but like if you can look back on something super traumatic that happened in your life and you can be like, okay, well, because of this thing, I'm not this anymore, or I've grown here, or I'm not going back here, and that's added a little bit of something to my life, like a little extra pizzazz. Like, why wouldn't you want that for yourself? Why would you hang on to that as part of your identity? We kind of like live in these weird identity crises, I think, because once we let these things go, what's our story after the fact? And I think a lot of people are really struggling with kind of letting go of that past story and moving on to the new story. And I'll have to do a video on that itself because guides gave it to me like a script. You know, you were given this script to play for this many years of your life, and you've like really gotten to the point where you know that person well, that character, you've got that character all the way down. And all of a sudden you were given an empty script. And they said, you've done such a great job, rewrite that now for what you want your character to look like. And everybody's like, whoa, I don't know what to do with that. Like, whatever. And so they're like, that's kind of what's changing in people right now. That was another thing they gave me.
Oh my gosh, we can keep jamming so many things. I have 1,000 things to say, but I want to say hi to all of our viewers, our homies. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Kevin. I see you're with Jen. Stoked you're here. And then I have to scroll through.
Say we have Monica who says, "Hey, ladies."
Yep. Hey, ladies. That's where I'm at too. Perfect.
Okay. Glenda, it's just like I'm letting in what needs to happen, just happen. Same girl. Crystal, I do look like I'm in a cockpit. I finally have something that is like of sound quality and I don't have dog noise around me. And I'm actually quite happy because we have lots of people that walk by. And yes, Terry, we are beautiful girls still. Cockpit and all. I feel like this retro is having many face their personal values and worth. I do too. I haven't really sat in the space of other people right now, retrograde in itself. But I will say I agree with that. I think it's kind of, I don't know. Mandee can probably answer this better because she is the guru of these things. Her and Ursula both know their moons and retrogrades. I feel like it's almost like if you didn't maybe get through some of the things from the past ones, then it's kind of coming up again in this one, but with more. Does that make sense? Because that's kind of how I'm seeing it for some people. I see that they're dealing with that plus. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So the retrogrades for me, it's personal for everyone. And what it looks like basically is we each have our own amazing soul blueprint and our incredible, the astrology, that's where that comes in. And all of our incredible stars are lined up and we have these charts and these energies that we work with and stuff. And so when retrogrades come up, it's helping you on your personal path of like things you're learning. And it can be really simple things. Like I was, there's a lot of relationship stuff going on right now. And like, I was just talking to like a coworker earlier about like the movie, He's Just Not That Into You. And like all the lessons that were like inspired within that. And sometimes it's just little things like you're learning how to be on time. Say you're a procrastinator and you're always late and it like kicks your ass because then you miss opportunities. Luck is just preparation meeting an opportunity. So like, you're missing these divine times. So say you're working on that. And what'll happen during retrogrades is things will get a little worse. What'll happen is if you're late, then like, it's almost like the consequence is worse. And you're like, oh man, now I really missed this because that would have been like incredible. And I wasn't working on it. Or if it's, sometimes it's icky shadow work, like realizing you're passive aggressive and learning how to catch yourself on that. And like, it's these little things within your own consciousness where you're like, it'll bite you in the ass in some way or another. And other people might not even have any idea. It might be your own weird personal thing that happens that you're like, okay, I understand why I want to work on this. Or just opportunities to love deeper with yourself, with others, and truly, like Jen was saying, stepping into our worth, being honorable of our time and our energy and how and where and when we're spending it. And then also the types of energy we're giving. So it's these times to go really personal and also do these, challenge ourselves to become more conscious, to become a better version of who we were. And when the retrograde periods happen, is to catch us up on like some of our slip ups or past mistakes or patterns that we're trying to break or release that we might have like a hard time with. And they'll come up in order for us to review it and to work on re-releasing it again. So there's a lot that goes into it, but it's happening for us in order for us all to just enjoy Earth School more and be a better version of ourselves than we were the last retrograde period. They just come as level up opportunities.
So I feel like this might be too much of a question. We might have to do like a separate thing on this. Like, why is it all now? Like, why is it now? Because people blissfully went through life just not doing anything, just every single day, same treadmill, same thing, not questioning nothing. And now everybody's questioning everything. And now everybody's opening up to that a little bit more. And so that's a deeper question. Like, why now? Why 2022? Yes, Ascension, but whatever, because people don't generally understand what that means. But I feel like there's so much healing that's happening, and it's the weirdest type of healing that's taking place. And, why now? Why all of a sudden in 2022?
I think it's always been happening and people have been working on it lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Many of us chose to incarnate now at this time because we're really trying to shift into this whole new earth mentality. And we're trying to release and break down this greed system. We're trying to create more peace and harmony with Mother Earth and be more sustainable and less toxic in all the ways, in the ways we talk to ourselves and treat each other, in the ways we harm the earth and our own environments. Like, there's a lot of consciousness coming in at this time because I think it's a point in this time and space in history, though it's kind of all parallel at the same time too, where we have a real opportunity to shift and create some serious peace. And I think a lot of people want to come in now to do that.
I love the way you answered that. I'm laughing because I'm like, your answer is just so like pure and pure, and mine is like, our give a damn is just busted. So my answer is like, I just feel like our souls are like, we're not having it no more, and this is what needs to happen. So you guys, we gave you some time.
Right. It's like
we gave you some space.
Point.
And we've all reincarnated, and a lot of us do it into the same family systems, and so it's like the same like traumas, dramas over and over and over again. And I just think that we get to this space within our soul that is just like, time out, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. This is stupid. And so it's one of those moments, and I feel like that's kind of what we're seeing across the board, even in people who don't understand that's what is happening. Like, they're still done, they just choose to project in different areas of their life because they don't really know how to look inward. And so I just think it's so neat. And I am going to get back to comments because you guys are making awesome comments. Glenda says she agrees with you, Mandee. I think you're working like shadow work in your sleep, and which is a blessing. It's probably because I don't in my daily life. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not paying attention. That's the only time they can hit me with a pan over the head and be like, listen to us. Heather says, talk about healing. I cleared my grandpa's land recently, and man, the tears that flowed just writing to my mom, but not bad tears, healing. I love that for you because I know you've had so much, Heather, in the past, I want to say 3 or 4 years. It's not stopped for you. And so the fact that you're kind of like what we were just talking about, it's almost like you yourself are kind of taking all of that generational and all of that stuff, and you're kind of putting it together, placing it into a time capsule with love. And I think that's really cool for what you're doing. So I'm sorry you're having to go through it, but at the same time, my Lord, do you show me what growth is. By the way, thank you, Crystal, for the help. Much love. She asked me how I would clear the space. That's what she's talking about. Kendra says, my biggest fears are coming up and I'm being non-reactive. Good for you. I am not doing that well at being non-reactive, Kendra, so maybe you can teach me. I see the
I love
growth.
your comment. It feels weird and I'm kind of shocked. Like, who the fuck am I? I love it. And that's what we were talking about earlier. It feels like dissociative as we're starting to learn to be less reactive. And we're like, because we care so much, whether we're happy or sad or angry or traumatized or whatever, there's excess feelings. And as we start to shift into more peace and observe our consciousness and our ego coming in and our angels coming in and our higher self coming in and all the different parts of ourselves, it feels disassociative for a little while as you're becoming more conscious. And it's not that you don't care, it's not that you don't give a fuck, but you're like, wow. And then it becomes really fun and powerful and neat. So enjoy this ride, enjoy all the energies you're exploring right now, and they're happening for you.
And sometimes, like, what you just said is like, it's a ping pong ball, and it's almost like you don't know where it's coming from, so it causes you to take like a huge step back because you're overwhelmed with all of the energies that are downloading all at once. And especially if you're like not grounded and not protecting and surrounding yourself, you're going to feel like you yourself are on this crazy roller coaster ride, which is going to drain the crap out of you. And so, like you said, that's the time to really pull yourself back and be like, whoa, me time. And Ursula is here. We love it when Ursula's here. And she can feel free to give her 2 cents at any point in time because we love her 2 cents. She knows everything when it comes to all things universal. So Heather says, oh my God, Crystal, what the hell kind of spell check is that? Okay, sorry. Monica, I heard a talk about it's time during this retrograde to edit our film to reevaluate ourselves in life. Yes, that's a beautiful way of looking at it. Actually, that's a beautiful way of looking at it. I'm curious how yours is going for you, Monica. Inga, please no reincarnation into the same family. Inga has also had a life a lot like Heather up there, and it's been a roller coaster ride for her, and she's been through it. So I can understand that. Terry Crystal, you told me, I don't expect you to remember, a little bit ago. Congratulations, because I stepped up. I do actually remember that. I'm not so sure what you meant by that. Could you please explain it to me? Yes. Glenda says questions get answers. And also, I'm going to have Mandee pull a card on Terry also, because what this goes hand in hand with is her taking boundaries in her life and actually utilizing those boundaries for herself. That's a self step up, not necessarily like outwardly, it's internally. So if Mandee feels so inclined, that would be awesome. Glenda says questions get answers. So I do like that people are questioning stuff. Me, I've questioned stuff my whole life. Yes. I know. I feel like as people who are incarnated, Mandee, into that family system, like over and over again, they're the people who really question things. Those are, like I said, the people who like pull back and are lookers because they just watch everything and they try to be observers as to like, what the hell is this going on right now? It's almost like being a part of a weird dream that you didn't really remember signing up for, and you feel like you're pinching yourself. You know, you're awake. Like, I'm earthy and I'm here. So what's going on right now?
That's like basically what the angels, have shown me when it comes to incarnating. We're this big, beautiful soul family, and we float around in heaven in the non-physical area, which is all straight up bliss and orgasm and ecstasy and just amazing. And we float around in our awesome souls, vibing at this incredible like vibration that we can barely feel here on earth. And we then choose to come with our other soul family up there, and then we get to choose into other situations in this lifetime to help us grow and expand, typically on shadow work. So like I went through a lot with my self-worth in my own lifetime, and I picked parents, I'm an adult child of alcoholics now, and I picked parents who were not always the easiest with certain things when it came to self-worth. And I was able to learn so much at this point, but I had to go through a lot of traumas and dramas and shame and guilt and all kinds of different things in order to like really take a full step back. And a lot of it had to do with my dad. And like now when I think about the things that happened when I was younger, the stuff that happened, with him or that he did or said, it used to just like rock me. And then I was in that, in one of those groups of like, oh, I'm a girl with daddy issues and I'm in all these groups or whatever it was, and we get like assigned to our little healing pods, if you will, and then like little labels. And even you and I talked about being in like fibromyalgia groups and different things that have happened. And, you get these support groups and these labels because of these things. And so, I spent a lot of time in all of that. And like now when I look back, because where my consciousness is at this time, I'm like, I show nothing but gratitude. And I've been able to watch souls like who are born of rape. And they're like, I'll take that vessel. Here I am. I just want to come in and I want to enjoy life and I can handle all that drama. And we grow. Some of us are able to get to a consciousness where we grow and we evolve and we understand that. And when we get back up to heaven in the non-physical, after all the stuff we went through and we had our amnesia here and, we went through hurt and heartache and pain, but we don't quite even understand. A lot of times we get back up there and we're like, oh, I see what it was all about. And I want to go right back in and do it again. And it's your own soul coming back in because it's like, we know we can heal this. We can do this. There's this such curiosity and heart fire within us. And each and every one of us feel that in our own certain ways. And so I promise, even the worst things that have happened, they were never okay. And it's not acceptable at all. But I promise that there's always purpose to pain. Because I've been able to see it so many times with so many people through so many things. And so it's hard to understand, but that's why we're here. And that's why we're learning and growing and opening up our consciousness to these possibilities. And your journeys are very sacred. And I do believe very much that we do choose them and we choose to come back in often to some of these wild situations. And then we sort it back out on the non-physical and we come back here to learn and to grow. And if we remembered it all, we'd be far too attached to our egos. Crystal remembered she was Cleopatra every lifetime. She'd be a different version of Crystal right now. So that's how it works.
I gotta tell you, every now and then I do look at Ben and tell him I miss my castle. I'm just like, come on. I just don't need to be here. I should be in England right now living my best life. I don't want this.
Exactly.
I am a queen and I deserve to be treated as such. So we have Jennifer right afterwards who says, we aren't love and light and smooth sailing all the time. Jennifer, I was reading that and I love that you said that. I actually just watched something the other day where somebody was talking about that. And that right there is what makes you a phenomenal healer with a grand purpose. Because you have seen so much crap and it has like been it's in you. You have that. You aren't going to blow smoke up people's asses and tell them what they want to hear on this ride. And you're not going to be ultra spiritual, but you're also going to shine that light and you're going to be like, look, yeah, that crap's going to happen and it's going to suck drastically. But my dear Lord, once we finally acknowledge that space inside of ourselves, that's what opens that shit up and it makes it easier every single time to deal with it and get through it and help us a little bit more. That right there, your whole comment is exactly what makes you the phenomenal healer that you are. And I think that there are far more people that probably should see your reach and what you have to offer because of those lines and light that you have to give, but also not pretending that it's not rough and ugly, because it is. And that right there is what makes you awesome. So I really had to say that.
That's also a great segue. I was going to plug tomorrow night. Jen is hosting a sound bath in New Jersey. However, we are also going to be offering it online for free. There's a free virtual ticket option and a link will be sent to you when you register. So if you go to seagoddesshealingarts.com, check out Jen's sound bath. There's a link there for a free virtual ticket option and you can tune in from anywhere. Now, the reason it's free is because it's our first time trying this out on our website and we're not positive of our signal. So we invite you to be patient with us. It might work out perfectly. It may not, but we'd love for you to drop in and hold some soul space and listen to Jen playing the sound bowls.
And
She's an
she's
incredible
amazing.
sound healer. She's a veteran of our country. She's healed and is healing, as we all continue to do, lots of traumas, dramas, and things within her own self and PTSD. And the sound bowls have been incredibly supportive of that to her and to so many other people and veterans, especially, and people with trauma. And it's literally a vibration that you feel. So if you want, sign up on seagoddesshealingarts.com, get comfy in your space, and tune in with us virtually.
Glinda says, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hop right in. Glinda says, yes, I'm watching it. Yes, Crystal, it's like I'm watching. I'm screaming. I call bullshit. Jennifer says Earth School is where we can learn lessons, sometimes painful. We just have to remember we asked to come here and learn all the lessons we are learning, good and bad. Absolutely. I don't know. It's so fun. I don't know. Once again, I feel like we should do like a Brady Bunch version of like a thing where it's pre-recorded maybe with all of the sea goddesses and having like maybe a week session where each one of us kind of chat in our Brady Bunch session, or a couple of us or whatever, because each one of them have so many cool things to offer. And it's like, you know, there's a lot that they could speak about. And I absolutely love Jennifer and everybody else, Ursula, Kendra, every single one of them are part of this and they all have something to offer. So I think it'd be cool for everybody to see what they offer.
We were going to do like a Sea Goddess Saturday Night Live. It might not be on Saturday nights, but we're going to do something like that coming soon. That'll feature everybody. Yeah. Get excited.
Heather says, so my husband is watching again. Yay.
Oh, hey.
He keeps finding salt lines in front of different rooms at work. No one is taking credit for it. Any ideas? Well, somebody's taking credit for it. They might not be taking credit for it. There has to be somebody doing that. Spirit doesn't put salt lines. Spirit isn't going to put salt lines because salt lines are for cleansing and stuff like that, which that'd be weird.
Up on that though, like, is there anybody you work with who's maybe a little fearful or superstitious or wants to cleanse and like chill out the energy? Also, finding salt lines, I think, is not a bad thing either. Like, that's nice because it can neutralize, no doubt about it, and help be protective. So it's not like a scary or dangerous thing. But I'm definitely just feeling like there's somebody doing this. Maybe also enjoying kind of messing with everybody else too.
Yes, I feel like it's more of a jokester. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with salt because salt just kind of takes in things. You just got to make sure you're vacuuming it up and like replacing it, or else it's just going to hold that negativity. So make sure that gets cleaned up every now and then. Thank you guys.
I don't really feel like, I can ask my pendulum too. So this is like one of my pendulums. There we go. Show me neutral, which is a circle. Show me yes, which goes straight back and forth. And show me no, please, which goes like side to side, like this. Show me neutral. Heather's husband, I forget your name, but that's okay. Is it spirit that's creating the salt lines at Heather's husband's work? No. Show me neutral. Is it a person who is doing this at work? Strong yes. Yeah, going right towards you guys. So it's definitely a person. I just can't figure out totally if it's like totally a joke or if there's actually some fear or somebody just being like, I need to clear this negative energy out. There's something to it. So enjoy discovering that. I don't know if you guys have security cameras or anything, but that could be fun too.
It could be. And then you could have a discussion about how salt's like cool. Why it's fine. Whatever. It's cool.
Yeah. Thanks for the
yeah. So wait. What, sound bowls? I'll totally be there. That was Heather. Jennifer says all the details are on Jane Doe. We have an amazing tribe. Kendra, I would love the Brady Bunch idea. Heather, I'll check it out after our group therapy. Glenda says, salt line person is looking to see who can cross it. That's where I was going with that. I was thinking that it was actually towards somebody else, and maybe they were picking up that somebody else was negative or had a negativity around them, not necessarily spirit. Mm-hmm. I was feeling like it was more of a human protection instead.
Yeah, like a coworker, like, I don't know, it could even just be some old lady being like, I'm sick of all this shit, and throwing some salt down and being like, ugh, I just want to keep this away. It could be anything. So it's very interesting.
It is interesting. I don't know. I would like to, I'll offer you guys, like, I'll do a walkthrough of space because I like Ghost and it would be fun to see because you said the place is pretty active. I'm curious now.
Yeah, maybe someone's just afraid there. So they're, it's a worker afraid of what's going on, the activity there.
Exactly. Curious also if it amps up at any other like specific times. That one also would be, because is it like more of a portal? Is there something more open because of the area? I feel like it's actually got some quartz underneath the ground. I feel like there's actually like a vibration coming from the ground and maybe possibly water flowing underneath it. So that would be interesting to know, which would amp things up.
Heather said they would totally let you know next time you're in Michigan. Let me know.
So, okay, we are getting off topic. And Terry, I'm going to go back to Terry
Okay, you were
because,
going to have me pull a card for someone, and was there a question or anything in particular? What was
well,
that?
she wanted to know. Her question was, and I think she had come on a while ago and we had talked about it, and I was like, "Oh, congratulations, because you have recently taken a step up." And she was confused as to what that meant. And to me, how it's coming through is boundaries. It's coming through in the sense that she herself is kind of forming some boundaries with herself and kind of taking space back for her, taking more time for her, and really starting to focus inward on who she is. And so that's how it like kind of came to me. And that's the leveling up that they were giving to me. And I was just curious if your cards, if your angels kind of had the same message behind that, because that's how it's coming in.
This is for Terry.
Yep.
For Terry. Got 1, 2, and 3. Interesting. So you've got, you're like this. First one is Council of Light. Divine orchestration and helpers in the subtle realm. Angels are showing that, Terry, you've really been trying to build a nice relationship with your team, with your angels. Call on them even more right now while things are happening. They're one of my favorite tools, my higher self and spirit, to use for boundary setting. I'll literally say, please surround me in white and blue light and protect me. Please keep me safe. Please help me. You can literally call on anyone you want, whether it's God or Jesus or Mother Mary or an ancestor or a spirit guide or anyone or thing to help or assist you with that. You can even, we've got Kendra up in the house, our crystal healer. You can even call on like the energy of tiger's eye or black tourmaline or different crystals to call you in and to help like protect that. Then you've got confirmation from Crystal, boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? So that's part of why that's coming in for you. And sometimes it's like simple things, like in myself, I know like I need to get a decent amount of sleep. If I don't sleep like my good 8 hours a night, 8 to 10 hours a night, sometimes I'm not the same Mandee. And I know with myself, if I don't have firm boundaries on my bedtime, I'm going to be an asshole to myself and others. And so I don't like it. And I have to set firm boundaries with myself. Sometimes it's with other people. Sometimes it's with, a lot of times it's at work. Like, and Rebecca Campbell, who designed these cards, I learned through a lot of her teachings, when things are out of alignment, like she teaches you, don't say yes when you really mean no. Like if you're saying yes to something just to be nice or just to move things along or just because you don't know how to say no or you feel guilty or whatever it is, then it's not fully in alignment and you're kind of causing like disrespect to yourself and you're depleting from your own energy. That doesn't mean like don't give a helping hand every now and then and jump in the team, but when you're excessively doing it over and over and you're compromising yourself, it's an issue. And I'm hearing a lot of that like with your energy, Terry, like sometimes it's about you're given a little bit more than you can handle at that time. So it's important to rein in your energy and here we go into your third card, which is align your life. What is no longer in alignment with who you truly are? And retrograde and full moon is the time to allow that to fall away. It's the time to get really clear on that and say, you know what, if it's not a heck yes in my life, then it's a heck no. And it's so important to realize that and to honor that. So we're glad you're here. We're glad you're doing the work. And they're just saying, trust really in what your heart wants most. And it's going to lead you exactly where you need to be. And it's safe and it's okay to have those boundaries at this time.
See, I knew if you pulled the cards, it would make it clearer. That's why I was like, help with the cards. Because they're just like, no, she's leveled up. She's like doing the steps. She's doing the things. And it all felt personal. It didn't feel like it was anything external with like a new job or something like that. It felt personal. So thank you very much. And Sophia just popped in. She says, hi, everyone. I've got spotty service, but I'm glad to be here traveling around Michigan and thinking of all of you. So we are happy you're here. Spotty service and all.
Oh, I love it.
So, anything else? Anybody else? We got no questions or saying, "Hey, we need cards." Usually, they are bombarding Miss Mandee because they've got some stuff.
You guys are relaxing during retrograde.
I was gonna say I'm pretty proud of y'all because it sounds like you're going through some pretty smooth sailing, and that means that you guys are doing the work too. So that makes me happy. And actually, I think Ursula had posted something in our chat. I think it was Ursula who posted this thing about people who have energy interferences and stuff like that. And I gotta tell you, I think that was my biggest issue when I moved here to California, because I used to be the girl that couldn't wear watches or, carry anything with me, because the energetic match was not, it was too much for me. Like, everything around me felt really crazy. And I have been grounding myself better here, but also I feel like I'm coming into a better state when it comes to being around electronics now. And so that was actually one of those things that I was like, it's a filler conversation, guys. So I was like, I'll bring that up. Do you guys have issues with that too? Are you having a hard time grounding yourself? Is the influx of energy, messing with your guys' self too? I know that was something that was really cool. And Terry says, thank you, girls. So yes, Mandee, thank you very much for pulling those cards. I think it gave her a little bit more clearer energy on what it was that I was saying. So thank you.
Of course. And I'll pull a bunch more cards here I see coming up, which I'm excited. And I also just wanted to touch base too on this full moon energies. It's the Pisces full moon, which is very watery and very dreamy. And so it makes sense that there's a lot of emotional dreams coming up right now for people in order to heal and release and trust and do that deeper shadow work, because that's just it. It's our subconscious. Like, we're not conscious of it during the day. If we are, it comes up and usually in reactions in some sort of way, or, we're not sure why we feel a certain way about something. But a lot of times we don't give it the grace and the time that it needs to consciously release or reprogram during the day. So it'll come up in our dream time a lot. And that's been happening. So this is the Pisces full moon in harvest. And it's important for you to be more compassionate and understanding towards yourself and others at this time, as well as be really honorable of your actual feelings and what's going on. They encourage you to allow yourself to daydream and for your imagination to run wild at this time. It's a good time to tap into like your art side and see if anything is inspiring. Like, inspiration literally means being in spirit. Like, when we're not being creative or in spirit or inspired by anything, it's because we've got too many other things going on blocking us from our presence at this time. Lots of dreams, lots of messages, really paying attention to your intuition and what it's telling you and how you're feeling right now. And then the last but not least, like, big kind of thing to work with this moon energy is trust, and trusting in yourself, in spirit, in divine timing, trusting when it's safe enough to let go, trusting when it's safe enough to push harder, trusting, that things are going to work out for the highest good of all involved, even if it's what you don't want at this time, and trusting that you're safe. I see this all the time with dating, even with myself, and I have to trust, like, hey, if it's not working out, there's a reason. And, maybe it doesn't make any sense to the logical mind right now, but I need to trust that, like, angels got my back. And if it's not going to be this, it's going to be this or something better. We're like, who knows? It could be the littlest thing and you're being really protected. Like, who knows? So it's so important to trust outside of ourselves and not micromanage as much as we can, even though it's easier said than done. So
I had to highlight this comment. I had to, because she was like, yay. And I know she had so much anxiety about this prior to, and she had brought it up in a couple other lives. And so I'm super grateful that she's having an amazing time because of Mandee. Because Mandee worked with her.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Now I can see it.
She says, I did so much work for this Michigan visit with Mandee, and it's been so helpful and amazing. So that is awesome.
Thank you for sharing. I'm very I keep all of I'm very confidential with all my clients, of course. But I love it when you guys share. And Sophia really did. She signed up for it. She had a thing coming up and she wanted to prepare for this visit to do shadow work so that she could respond differently with family. Ram Dass always says, I've told Sophia this and many other people, but Ram Dass is like a thought leader healer. I think he's since passed on. Yes. However, he is known for saying, oh, you think you're healed? You think you're woke? You think you are awakened and enlightened? Go spend a week with your family. And if you don't react or respond or whatever, all those things, then there you are, you've made it. And we almost, none of us can. They're the ones who created and pushed the buttons and vice versa. And what we all care about the most down, deep at the end of the day. Because it it wouldn't trigger us if we didn't. And so it's a really cool place to do all of that work. And Sophia really showed up for herself, and we worked on all kinds of things and had a nice like 3-session package ready to go and do that work and have her all prepared. And she manifested an absolutely beautiful trip for herself so far, which is great. I can't wait to catch up on you about it. So if you guys ever need support or anything like that, like that's a lot of what I do. I meet with clients sometimes weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, sometimes monthly, sometimes once every 6 months or every year, sometimes in crisis. And sometimes I work with people just to help make their lives, a little better, a little more peaceful. Sometimes it's major work, dealing with traumas and dramas. Sometimes it's learning about the magical arts. There's all kinds of awesome things that we can do when we hold soul space. And just know I'm always out there to support you. And I'm proud of you, Sophia. And thank you so much for sharing with us.
And we have Kendra who says, I always want a card for my true self/heart.
Yay! I think someone wanted a card before Kendra too.
Oh, oops.
That's okay. I just want to check because I just.
Oh, you are accurate. I'm going the wrong way. My mouse isn't working. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
There we go.
I just want to make sure
Heather. It was Heather. Heather said that she said, I would like a card, please. Thank you, Heather. I'm sorry. I didn't see you. I apologize.
You are good. We're just gonna go down the line for Heather. Ooh, Arama, where are you being called to journey to? Ooh, all right. Where are you being called to journey to? The Arama has a lot to do with soul journey, stepping into our Akashic records, studying things deeper within ourselves and our consciousness. We're settling into fall and winter, and you've had a lot of shift and change and transition and things to deal with. And so it's really important to tune into the portal of your heart and ask, where do I want to spend my time? What do I want to be doing right now? What am I wanting to learn and grow and understand? What, lights my fire? What can I not get enough of? Or what can I spend all day researching and never get bored? It's important to really kind of sit with some of those energies right now because they're going to nourish you and they're going to feed you after you've been giving so much to so many other things in your life. Then you've got the pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. Heather, you're highly intuitive. Things are really, especially after all this stuff you've been through recently, though you might be tired and it might not feel like it, your intuition is just getting stronger and stronger, and you just be knowing things sometimes. And it's important to trust that. And on that same note, last but not least, you got the pause. No, wait, pause, say no. So enjoy the rest right now. You're falling into fall and then eventually winter here. You've been through so much. Don't say yes when you really mean no. And if something's coming up that doesn't feel fully in alignment, it's safe to say no at this time. Practice this pause. Take your time on everything in your life right now. That is for Heather.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we also have Kendra, who did say that she wanted a card for her true self/heart. And as you are getting that ready, I'm going to read this because I thought it was
Kendra. No, just kidding.
She goes, I love the two, Monica. I love the two of you. You're like peanut butter and jelly, ham and cheese, chocolate and peanut butter, coffee and cream. Thank you for coming together to help support us. You're welcome. I love that comment so much.
We love and appreciate you. Thank you for showing up.
I do love her.
You hold such heart space for us and for others in your life. And you are just so incredible. Angels get to, give me a little peek. And like your heart, it's truly beautiful. And we are so grateful that you are here holding space with us. So thank you for always holding it down. Kendra, I'm pulling from the Starseed deck from Kendra. The last deck was the Work Your Light deck. Both are by Rebecca Campbell. For Kenj. Ooh. 3. The first one is wait. It's not time yet. Things are being woven. And I get to know this. Kendra is my friend and soul sister and one of our sea goddesses, but I'm also privileged to be able to see her soul. And Kendra gets so inspired, so in spirit. and creations come through, flying wild ideas, and it's incredible. And then sometimes it'll sweep Kendra's energy away just as fast as it came. And there's a lot of like creative ideas and downloads and things coming in, and they're showing and things moving. I'm seeing you and I haven't even caught up, but I'm seeing all these connections and different things happening for you at this time. And it's okay and it's safe to plan things out, to not say yes when you really mean no, and to let things be a little bit of a wait, and to trust in the timing of the recalibration of things. There's a lot of like new things coming in for you and your family, and it's okay to lay things on the table and then decide what exactly it is you want. There is no rush at this time, and it's important to breathe and take trust and take as much space as you need, because then you get two, actually, another one. Okay, this is great. You got the love, radiant energy, codependency, and boundaries. Sometimes we can love extra hard to the point where we can be a little enabling of those who we love in our family unit. And they're showing that there's just a lot of like different things growing. You're a mom and a wife, and you've got yourself, and it's an opportunity really to have healthy boundaries within yourself, and then teach those who are closest to you the same thing. And they're the best mirrors back to you on how to handle that and what to do. And then last but not least, you get another sign in trusting. Trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on, and time is not running out. When things are in the unknown, when we're not sure, it's really easy to get overwhelmed and overworked and, way into the future timelines. But it's important right now to trust that they're showing like all of your needs are met and taken care of. And there's just a lot of things happening right now in order to help you shine and be kind of a better version of yourself at this time. And though things are a little rocky and shaky, and some things are up in the air, wonderful answers are coming at the exact perfect time. And it's important to stay present, stay healthy as much as you can, enjoy your life and the little moments as much as you can right now. And then everything is going to line up in perfect and divine timing. So hang in there, sister. You are love. You've got the love. It's okay to pause, to make decisions, to look at different options for what you're wanting to accept into your life at this time. Hope that helps.
I bet it helps. Inga says if Mandee wants to pull a card for me, that would be great.
For Inga. Inga's getting
you, Inga.
Too. Ooh. It's so interesting because I see you, Inga. I see you around on our on Facebook. I call it the Book of Faces, and our shows and different energies, and you have such an incredible light about you, and you are a force. And I'm really excited for the cards we pulled, because your first one is forge, don't follow, pave a new path, and be the leader that you wish you had had. You're an incredible healer and space holder. I don't know if you're doing that professionally or not yet, but I do know that you do it no matter where you're at. That's part of the reason that you're so attracted to the spirit and all these things that we do speak about and talk about, and the work that Crystal does. And it's really important for you to remember that you're an incredible leader of the heart, and people are always looking up to you. And if there's anything that you can do where you feel like you're bumping up against some energies and you're not really sure what to do or how to handle it, create your own way. Literally forge your own path and follow it, because you're meant to at this time. You have different perspectives and ideas and ways of being about you that invite you to be a wonderful leader. And there's people looking out there, within your own life, of course, but then there are some people looking to, hear what you have to say and to follow some of the things that your perspectives and what you're bringing in, which is perfect because your next card is big picture thinking. Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. You literally download all of these amazing ideas. You have ideas and ways to heal and create more peace and harmony within your own life and self, and then within the world around us. Pleiadians, the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, that constellation, it's incredibly wise. They're there to guide us as spirits. Whenever I have a hard time with technology, I'm always like, Pleiadians, please help me, because I feel like they gifted it to us. They vibe almost higher than angels in their frequency, And they're showing for you, you are, I don't know if you're writing or channeling yet, but you channel a lot of things from several realms, but particularly the Pleiadians. And it's important to maybe do some active writing or take some notes or just take a breath and observe it when it comes through. And if you're feeling different things, if you haven't explored that too much yet, just know that that is happening for you. And then last but not least, you got the Seas of Mintaka, seeing the potential and bringing the unconscious to light. Again, another sign of you being this visionary and seeing things. Mintaka, the Mintakans were like the original light workers. And rumor has it, legend has it, that we all came in basically in some of our first lives via water and raindrops and water drops and creating the elements here in this earth school. And that some of us oldest light workers came from this planet of Mintaka, which was a water planet. And it's very connected to this Piscean energy right now and all the things that are coming through. And they just want you to know, like, you are meant to daydream. You are meant to create amazing ideas and solutions. And then eventually, if you so choose and want to, you're meant to act on them. And it's safe enough to look through your perspectives and to forge a different heart-led path. So I hope that helps you. I hope that tickles some of the things going on in your soul during retrograde right now, because it's more deep, a little less superficial and more going in for all of those amazing things that you see and that your heart wants to help create in this world. So thank you for being here, and thanks for asking for a card, Inga.
So, like, as you were speaking about her, I do know a couple things about Inga. One, she is super huge in her heart space. She is a nurse, I do believe. By trade, I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe you're a nurse. But also, it's something that I know to be true about her when you were talking about her and her expressiveness and blah, blah, blah. The woman is a powerhouse for communication, and people don't generally like her bluntness. But like so many people who have lived in trauma and so many people who have experienced life in different ways, Inga just says what she says, and it is what it is. And she's saying it from the biggest heart space she possibly can muster. But at the same time, it's just kind of like, I think, too blunt for some people sometimes. And so she thinks she's rougher around the edges than what she actually is. I see her as nothing but love, and I see her nothing as fire.
Yeah, that's why she got this radical fortune follow. And Rebecca Campbell also teaches, I recommend actually How to Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell and Rise Sister Rise, because you are not meant for everyone, sister. You are not meant for everyone. You are meant for those who you are meant for. We all have our own different frequencies, and not everyone's going to like us. Like, you either love me or hate me. Like, there's really not an in-between with myself. And I have many people who I am not their flavor, but I have a lot of people who I am, and I'm meant to just be me and show up and lead by example. And then I'm able to help others on their path. And so, it's pretty simple for me. Like, don't be a dick. Like, everybody, when you're being an asshole, when you're being a jerk, but like, you also know when you're being very heartfelt and intentional. And like, yeah, it might come across as abrupt or different for someone else, but it's all about that energy. And if your energy is pure and heartfelt and really there to help make, a radical difference or hold space, and somebody else doesn't like it, like, that's okay. It's just little things that make a huge difference all the time. So trust that, and you are not for everyone, and you were meant to shine your light. Like, what do they say? Like, put on your light so your other weirdos can find you, that kind of thing. So like, it's really important to trust that right now. And they're just showing you've done a lot of censoring with yourself and discerning of yourself. And I've done that. They're pointing back to me too. Like, I'm always afraid I'm going to be too loud or too obnoxious or take up too much space, or was that too real? But the more I step into it, the more I have more grace and understanding with myself, and the more I'm able to show up. So I encourage you to play around with those energies and really be ready to start forging your path and stepping into that big heart space and allowing yourself to be who you truly are in this lifetime. And you will do that with love and grace and courage. And like I said, we all know when we're being jerks, so you'll call yourself out if you are, but I really don't think you are. And if someone else doesn't take it, that's okay. We all like different songs.
Exactly. I love everything you just said, Mandee. Welcome to my world also. I'm shaking your hand energetically, because Spirit and I have a fun thing. Like, people come through and they're like, ain't nobody was like standing at my funeral saying whether or not, like, oh, I don't know, I might be on the fence about whether I liked her or not. And they're like, no. And that's when their spice comes through. And when they came through and they started giving that as one of my symbols, I just busted out and I was like, that's me to a T. Like, that's gonna be one of my ways of coming through. Like, ain't nobody sitting on the fence with me. You either know if you like me or you know if you hate me, and there is no in between. I say things that some people just don't understand, but as long as I can, I always tell empaths, we are people pleasers, and we love to be pleasing people, and that's one of our biggest hurdles that we have to overcome in our life. And so we get into this thing where we're always thinking that, you know, if we say the wrong thing or we step on the wrong toes or blah blah blah, and so we just mouse ourselves down, and that's just not who we are, because most of us are very, very energetic people, and we can with anything that we do. And so it is so good to sit with yourself at night. At night, if you can look back on every situation and scenario and be like, I did that with love, then you need to know that you did it right. If somebody received it without love, then that's on them to have a communication with you. Lay that on the table and say, this is what I heard. Is this what you said? And then you have an opportunity to be like, well, no, that's not what I said, but thank you for coming to me. This is what I meant by what I said. And I hope you receive it better now, because now I'm able to explain it a little bit more. And generally speaking, Spirit will always come through and guide those words for you, because they don't want to cause friction with us. They want to bring communication and understanding with the people in our lives. And so if ever somebody feels that way, it is on them to come to you and bring the communication to the table. You aren't a psychic. Like, we all have psychic tendencies. We all have that. But look, if we were psychic the way past people think we're supposed to be psychic, we would all have all the answers. And that's just simply not the truth. We still have to learn and live and get through our own earth school. We don't have the answers to that. And so if somebody takes offense to something we say, it's not necessarily on us to know that. It's on them to tell us. And then we have the opportunity to have an open conversation with whomever it was. So don't worry about being too big or too loud. You do you. And if you can sit well with the conversation at night, then give yourself love and peace and close the door on it and let that be the end of your night, and sleep well having those dreams, because that's what we're here to do. If they choose not to communicate with you, that's a them problem, not a you problem. So that's one of those little sprinkles of advice my guides have given to me about me being or thinking that I need to just dull myself down for the world around me. So I hope that that was received well also. And yes, Monica did say that she is reevaluating a lot in life, Mandee, and she would love a card from you.
From Monica?
Yes.
All right, Monica. Very into these Work Your Light cards tonight from Monica. You guys are killing me tonight. We got trust for Monica. We got trust your path, Mitten talking, and you're already doing it, which is interesting because these are from two different decks, and they're very similar to what happened with our last two readings. So what's going on right now with you, Monica? Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? That's like the hardest part of taking steps forward and really like choosing what it is we want to do and the energies we want to put towards certain things and places and people in our lives. It's wondering if we'd have support. And if we knew we were supported, if you knew that things were going to work out, what would you choose to do right now? It's a big part of helping you to figure out how to reevaluate and like calling that in. And sometimes we'll get the support that we need and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just have to trust that we're going to be supported by spirit and by our higher self. And that's when things can get really juicy. So maybe take a little list, a little soul inquiry and see if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Then you got them in talking more about that water planet that we were talking about before. This one says longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. So many of us feel like even when we do manifest, amazing relationships and jobs and experiences and we have purpose, many of us still don't totally feel at home. And a lot of us, I don't think, are going to, because part of our soul resides up in the non-physical and has had so many experiences in other places. And we kind of long for that that just feeling of complete bliss and at homeness and ecstasy. And when we're down in Earth School, we experience separation. And even on our best days, it can be a little hard or lonely at times. So it's so important to have grace with yourself right now, and just know that you're longing for that sometimes, because you're down here to do incredible work, and you're down here to observe and to embody at the same time, and know that you are an old, amazing soul, and you can draw upon your spirits whenever you need to support you. But part of that's just coming in because of who you are and how many lifetimes that you've had. And whenever I'm feeling like that kind of homesickness for like outside of here, I try to tell myself some nice affirmations. I try to do something that I know I enjoy. Like, I feel like for me, my full belief is when we're up in heaven in the non-physical and we're floating around in our soul bodies, we can't touch, taste, see, smell, enjoy a shower, drink a glass of water, bake cookies, have sex, go for a walk with your dogs, like swim in the ocean. Like, we can't do any of that stuff when we're floating around in our soul bodies. So I try to take a few breaths and remember that this is just one short lifetime in my book of lifetimes. This is so temporary right now. And what can I actually do to enjoy this moment? Since there's things I can't control right now, what can I control? Like, okay, well, I can't control, all the stresses that's going on, or somebody's fighting with somebody, or a bill I can't pay, or whatever it is, but I can go outside and put the sunshine on my face. I don't know, maybe you lost your job and you don't know where your next one's coming. You can still, all right, well, I can do a meditation right now. I can drop into my body. I can do some yoga. I can read a book. Like, let me bring it back a couple steps. So as you're reevaluating at this time, just try to get nice and present, Monica, and allow that to come in and support you. And then your last one is you're already doing it. Stop overthinking and keep facing your true north. There's a lot of things you're actually really clear about already. And it's about being brave enough to allow yourself to release the things that you've decided during your reevaluation are no longer serving you. So if you knew you'd be supported, what would you do? And trust that you're already doing it and that they're there to help you. And wonderful things are coming for you at this time. Be brave, be courageous in your heart, and know that you're making and reevaluating all these things so that they can be in more alignment for you. Hope that helps and supports you tonight, Monica.
Mandee, do you have a couple minutes to pull a couple more cards, or are you busy? You got places to go?
How many more?
We have.
My comments are a
I do
little
believe
delayed.
like a couple.
2?
I think we have a couple people. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
So like 3. Okay. We have 3. So, we have Christy, and as you're doing that, I'm going to read comments because you guys have left off some comments. Glenda says, "Yep, weird dreams last night for me. Oh, and I have jury duty tomorrow." I love you. Christy says, "Oh my gosh, so true. Family is so hard." Sophia, I sure did love this and recommend Crystal, Mandee, and Ursula. You've got to put in the work, and wow, the universe does deliver. Yes, they do. Heather says, "Thank you." Kendra, thank you so much. Love to both of you guys. Inga says, "I love you. You both rock." I am going to butcher this. Do you want to say this name? I am so sorry. Giuseppe?
I want to say Giuseppe.
Okay. Hello, English is not my first language. Thank you for tuning in. Inga says, "Thank you so much." It sure does. Tiffany, hey, ladies. And sorry, Christy is the one that wanted the card. Andrea, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Christy, I'm feeling called to pull from the Angels and Ancestors deck for you actually. 1, 2, 3. You've got, oh, how lovely. The Wise One. Grow within your current situation. Things are happening in your life right now in order to reflect back into yourself, how far you've come, your maturity, your consciousness, and your wisdom. Wisdom is a lot of times the knowledge that we gain after things we've been through emotionally, but then there's no emotional charge left over. I love the representation of this card and this amazing wise woman and who she is. And they're showing you're really stepping into a lot of that at this time. People are coming to you for advice, and it's important to trust yourself and like safe enough to guide them through some things. Allow that to happen right now and trust like whatever's going on in your current situation, you're supposed to be growing within it right now. And it's supposed to be, it could be hard. Sometimes it's growing pains, but it's supposed to be leveling you up. And at the same time, then you get the moon, which is take note of intuitive messages. So your intuition is already nudging the answers to you, especially when people are coming to you for advice or you're trying to figure out how to expand within the situation that you're in at this time. Trust in your gut and in your heart, those first things that are coming through. And if you start really questioning it and overthinking it, odds are you're getting in your ego a little more and out of your heart space more. Then last but not least, you get the traveler. This is your sign and confirmation that it's safe to, as you're growing, to also move in a new and different direction. Let yourself be guided at this time, and it's safe enough to say yes to change and new adventure. And you might not even have to say yes. You might just have to create it and create a yes for yourself. So a lot of potent energy right now. Trust your intuition. You are very wise and you are meant to be growing in this current situation and reevaluating some things right now. So trust that and trust that it's safe to take a step forward at this time. Hope that helped.
I am moving right on over to Andrea, who says, good evening. Can I get a card pulled?
Hi, Andrea. Love her. I'm going to work your lights for Andrea. 1, 2, and 3. So your first one is Starseed, what lights you up? Andrea is an incredible sensitive. She's an awesome soul and an awesome person. And maybe things are they're just showing, maybe there's been some heaviness lately. You know, it's the back to school week. Things are a little crazy. And it's important to create some time and just focus on what really lights you up and makes you happy. Maybe summer slipped away a little bit. They're kind of showing, and you didn't get to really do a lot of things that light you up or make you feel good. And even if it just starts with something little, like lighting candles each night or getting yourself some flowers or soaking your feet in salt, it's really important to get into your normal routine, things that light you up. And what that looks like at this time, even on your worst days. Maybe play yourself some music or just do something that's going to soothe you and rock you and recalibrate you. Which brings us into our next card, the Star Mother. How can you mother yourself more? What is it that your soul is craving and calling you for? And what are some things that you can do to nourish that and to help that? Like I was talking about earlier, for me, like when I mother myself, I got to make sure I put myself to bed on time or else I'm a cranky Mandee the next day. Like simple things like that. I'm seeing just a lot of water with you right now, sister, whether it's sitting by the water, drinking the water, soaking your feet by the water gazing. I don't know if you've done that yet in meditation, but you are very gifted spiritually. And I feel like water gazing might really inspire you and you might get a lot of really cool visions. So they were showing that for you as well. And simple things like, you know, sometimes it's simple, but not easy to do, but like telling yourself, giving yourself all those positive affirmations and those put-ups and keeping yourself going through, talking to yourself like you will, like, you know, your dream mom would. And all of our mothers, even if they were great mothers or the worst mothers, they did their best. And there's still always things that we needed to hear that maybe we didn't. And these are the times to tell yourself those things and have nice boundaries with yourself. Then last but not least, warrior woman. If you weren't afraid, what would you do? What would you do right now if you weren't afraid? It's important to trust that. This is Joan of Arc on this card. She just trusted that she was meant to lead a revolution as a 14-year-old woman in times where women were not leading crusades. And there's just a lot that goes into that. So it's so important right now to trust yourself, to mother yourself, to do some things that light you up and bring you some joy. And don't be afraid to take that sword and slice away something that's no longer serving you. And if you weren't afraid to do it, what would you do at this time? So I hope that supports you.
Love. And we have Joanne. Hello, beautiful souls. I would like a card if there is time. And as you are getting those ready, I'm going to read the rest of the comments. Inga sounds like my type of person. Monk says, like blunt people, efficient. Reindeer games are annoying. It's like,
Appreciate you.
Spirit has taught me to say what I mean and mean what I say. Like the wishy-washiness of old crystal is a thing of the past, and I really struggle. Actually, that's where my empathy doesn't always come through. Sometimes is like it. I struggle listening to people. I'm like, get to the fucking story. Like, tell me so we can have the conversation and we can close shop, y'all. Because I got things to do, and so I have to sometimes pull myself back and remember that not everybody has been taught by spirit like me, and they're still in that state of like trying to find the things because they don't always know what to say. Ben actually is one of the people that gets the brunt of that the most with me. Like, I really have to take myself back and remember that he was diagnosed with autism and he also has ADHD, and so sometimes he struggles to find those emotions and sometimes he struggles to put those into words, and I'm like, let's do this quick. And so I have to reteach myself through spirit's eyes to have balance in that. Say what you mean what you say, and like get it out and just say it. So it's all a learning aspect.
I love that you brought that up because that happens all the time with so many people. And I even see that a lot of you all know here, like, yes, I see Goddess Healing Arts, but I also help manage a restaurant. There's a lot of things. And sometimes for our own boundaries, it's okay to like have that healthy communication. And you can do both. You can say, you know, Ben, I love you, or whoever you're talking to, like, oh my gosh, you know, I love talking to you. I really want to hear all this about it. I'll hear all about this. Right now, I don't have the capacity or the time for that. It's not your fault or anything. It's just the way my life is existing today. Could we make some time to talk about it tomorrow in detail or another time in detail? And what can I do right now to help you put out this fire or to get, you know, what we need to get accomplished at this moment? But I do appreciate you and I appreciate what you're sharing. And I really want to make some time for that. Because so many of us are in those moments all the time. And we have these sliding door moments where we want to connect with people, but we can't because there's work or other things, or like, you know, like we all have our own amazing lives and timelines going on. But if you practice that pause and you just acknowledge someone in the moment and it's like, yeah, I see you, I hear you, you're amazing. I cannot go there right now because I literally got to run, but let's set some time to talk about it. And what can I do right now to help you or put this fire out real quick or get this information that I need? It's hard. It's hard to have this healthy communication, but it comes up all the time for all of us every day. So I hope that helps whoever was listening a little bit on how to have those healthy boundaries. So last but not least, who was it? Joanne.
It's Joanne.
Joanne, we're going to do some Ancestor and Angel cards for you. Ooh, you've got some really nice things coming up. So first is the Mirror Guardian. Take time to reflect. We're in retrograde right now. We're in this watery full moon right now. It is a great time to retreat and to recalibrate and reflect on all the things that are coming up in your life right now. And really, like, take a look at how far you've come, how you've grown, and what you want to, how much further you want to go and what you want to grow into at this time. This Mirror Guardian is coming up for you to reflect right into yourself. Mostly the things around you certainly reflect back into you, but this is like your soul coming in for a lot of reasons. They're wanting you to get really clear with your emotions and to honor them. Tears water our soul garden so we can grow, and a lot of times it helps us to get clarity on what we're really feeling and what's coming up. In order for you, they're just showing your next one too, this is a great segue, like the Direction Guardian, to choose your path. So these things that are coming up for you, you're reflecting and you're connecting with your emotions right now because there's direction coming at this time for you to shift, for you to change, and for you to feel safe enough to step into a path that you're really, really wanting at this time. Hasn't always been the right time. It hasn't always been safe enough. But now you're really taking a few moments to reflect and to gather information and say, okay, all these things have happened. This is who I am now. And this is actually where I want to go. And they're showing all these energies are lining up for you in order to step into that. And that there's been a lot, there's been overwhelm, there's many options, many things, but you're going to get more and more clear on it. Be patient over the next few weeks. There's going to be a lot of things that come in your dreams and some interesting signs that help to point you in that direction. But you really do get to choose right now. And, you know, there's always compromise. Not everything's perfect, but you are going to choose what's best for you. So tune in and use your discernment. And I hope that helps, Joanne.
I have a question about your cards. Are they 3D?
No,
I'm
but
seeing them
maybe. I
3D.
mean,
I was like, it is so weird. It's like I literally am seeing these 3D images and they're like popping off for me. It's like
maybe.
the weirdest thing.
I
It's
mean,
like,
it's probably the way they
whoa.
like designed it. The artwork's by Lily Moses.
Yeah, they're beautiful cards. And then I'm
Aren't
sitting here and I can literally see like rays coming off from that one that you just showed. I was like, is this a weird crystal moment? I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, like that whole little sun thing up at the top, it literally is like it looks like it's an actual like
I think it's
holographic.
supposed to.
So weird.
That's probably the whole intention.
I was like, whoa.
Probably the whole intention.
Anyway,
They're very dope.
they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. But I'm like, whoa, is this one of those weird crystal moments where she's seeing things that don't exist?
I don't think you're crazy, and I'm sure that they looked beautiful coming through.
They are
but
gorgeous.
Someone else can tell you if you're crazy. I'm just kidding.
So, well, it's super. I feel like I am anyway. It's fine. I embrace it.
Aren't y'all? We're all
So
mad here.
thank you guys. So any closing comments about this week, what we're experiencing? And Monk says, yes, he sees the 3D too. So yes, you'll have to go back and look. I think this is the first time I've actually seen your cards because I'm not on my phone. So they're not super small. And so I think that's what threw me off. I was like, whoa, I was looking at them. But any closing comments for this week and what's happening and how do people find you, get a reading from you?
Couple closing comments. Number one, it's Mercury retrograde. Practice your re's. Rest, reevaluate, retreat, refocus, reprioritize. There's 1,000 other re's we can get into. Literally read so many things. Let yourself relax a little at this time. Try not to push. Try to really allow things to come to you at this time and trust in the unknowns. There's a lot of reweaving happening for many people in their lives right now. And there's a lot of things that are unknown. We don't know about certain jobs or relationships or situations. And it's important to let that be okay and to trust in that, to let other people be responsible for the things they need to be responsible for, and to let you and encourage yourself to be responsible for the things you need to be responsible for. Another reword. And be patient because we are, in this closing out this full moon energy, and it was very watery and very emotional and very intuitive and dreamy. So enjoy all those messages coming through. And my name is Mandee Elam. I'm an intuitive ascension guide, which is basically a life coach with a spiritual twist. And I'm always excited and happy and honored, really, to hold space with people on their soul path. If you made it to the end of this live, I always offer a 50% off coupon for all of my services. So go to SeaGoddessHealingArts.com, and on all of my services, if you book with me, the coupon is Mandee Live, and it will get you 50% off. So that's Mandee Live. And if you are in the area, in New Jersey, we're having a sound bath tomorrow night. Jen Barnes is leading it. She's incredible. And that's going to be in Williamstown. And if you want to tune in virtually, you just have to go to our website to Jen's Sound Bath and get a free virtual viewing ticket. So you can view in for free in the comfort of your own home and check it out. Then last but not least, we have our big annual fundraiser coming up on Saturday called the Last Splash. And it is a Mermaid and Pirates Festival theme to raise ocean awareness for the Marine Mammals Training Center, the Mermaid Training Center one day, the Marine Mammals Training Center, and the Absecon Lighthouse. The Marine Mammals Training Center is the only organization in the entire state of New Jersey that responds to sick, injured, or hurt marine life on the entire New Jersey coastline of 1,800 miles. We also work really closely with other states, and basically the Marine Mammals Training Center has like an ICU for many mammals, but mostly specializes in seals and seal rehabilitation. So it's going to be a great day. It's going to raise money for the lighthouse as well, which is the oldest building in Atlantic City. And it's the whole reason that the city was even founded in the first place. So we're just excited. It's going to be a great day. Come on out and have fun. Throw us some love and some support. And we're still looking for sponsors. If you or your company are interested in putting some nice donations to a good use and a good cause. Crystal, thank you so much for letting me share and holding this beautiful soul space on Mondays with me. how can people get a hold of you?
I am Mitten Medium, and also you can find her also at Sea Goddess Healing Arts on YouTube. Please like and subscribe to their channel as well. And I am Spirit Speaks with Mitten Medium on YouTube. That's pretty much it. I feel like we're good. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I hope that the retrograde is nice to you and the full moon energy. And if it's not, well, then do your things and practice the rest. Yeah, practice all of the other things that she said. And also remember to drink your water, especially if you are an empath, because you're going to be off balanced if you don't. So take care of yourself altogether, and we look forward to seeing you guys all next Monday. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mandee. Love you. Have a great rest of your week too.
Thanks, Crystal. Love and appreciate you guys. We'll see you soon.